Good morning, everybody. Well, those of you that are up and logged in. Ugh. Last week of class. All right, I am here. If anybody has any questions, clarifications, content, that kind of stuff. Remember, exam is Wednesday at 7:30. Um, I'll probably give you 55 minutes. I'll give you a 5-minute overtime. But the questions are going to be, you know it or you don't. Keep it moving. That will help to alleviate misunderstandings in terms of you're standing on one leg, you do this, you do that. There's going to be less about that because I can't be there to clarify, and more about what type of joint is this, what kind of motions does this do. If I'm working this muscle, this group of muscles, and I'm working it through this type of work, what type of motion? This type of motion with this group would be what type of work, right? Equational stuff. Stretching, what if I move the joint in this position, or if I have this motion with the joint, what group of muscles are going to be lengthened? Just very, if you know it kind of stuff, okay? Anybody out there? Okay, so I'm not going to breathe for if I don't get any questions by 7:40, because this is just meant to be a review for you guys. I'm so sleepy. I just found a good meme I need to add to my collection. That's my hobby during the break, collect memes. Yeah. Hey, Calvin. Good morning. So, PNF stretching is if in my stretching uh, lecture, I tried to keep it simple. In the lecture, I said that all stretching is beneficial. Now, what I mean by that is whether you do static hold, right? You stretch and hold, or dynamic where you bounce around, ballistic, active, just moving it around. For those of you that don't know what PNF is, it's proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. It's a fancy way of saying you stretch, you lengthen, and then you contract against resistance. So you isometrically hold for a minute. And what that's going to do is put extra tension, and then when you relax, that tension is going to be released and you're going to get to go a little further. So usually it takes a partner to do, or you got to get creative, up against a wall, or you just got to get creative. It's all good. And that was the intent, was that although, some people may find individually certain stretches work better, or mentally, like some people who do yoga or static stretching may get a benefit of zen, relaxation, meditation, that kind of stuff. So individually results may vary, but in terms of the research, just movement, whether it's static, dynamic, PNF, uh, any of that is good. Any of that is better than nothing. Um, so yeah, man, it's all good. And for the test, it's going to be, again, just the concept of stretch, the concept of lengthen. If a muscle pulls in the direction of hip flexion, any flexion I get is going to shorten the muscle, and any extension I get is going to lengthen the muscle. So for the test, it's just understanding that if I have a group of muscles that pull in the direction of internal rotation of the shoulder, I need to externally rotate the shoulder to lengthen them. And that's going to parlay into biomechanics when we get into specific muscles. And we say, all right, the pectoralis minor is a scapula depressor, protractor, downward rotator. So we need to elevate, retract, and upward rotate the scapula to lengthen it optimally. Especially multiple functioning muscles, they can be lengthened or shortened from different motions, different positions, different joints. So for this test, it's just the concept of stretch. If I have muscles that are pulling my left ear to my left shoulder, I need to bend my right ear to my right shoulder to lengthen the left lateral cervical benders. Calvin, give me a confirmation if that answered your question, or follow it up with another question, and or follow it up with a clarification, and I'll be happy to touch upon it. Oh, you're welcome, buddy. Thank you for the question. Anybody watch the Chicago documentary last night? Well, the second part to it. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. That was my way of seeing who was still up. Just joking. Any other? Remember, guys, feel free to ask any questions, clarifications. Guys, if y'all don't have any questions in 5 minutes, we're going to just call it a day. I hope y'all are watching the lectures. Are y'all going back and watching the lectures and going along in your books? All the information is going to be from those two, and specifically your book, because the lecture just allows me to explain what's in there. The book is more like a notebook more than anything, 'cause I'm not a very good writer. But at least it allows for you to have the main things on there, and then you can take notes and kind of write examples that I give you. But a combination of those two, and y'all should be pretty set. Good. Yeah, it's meant to just have one of the things. I think I told you guys this maybe on the first day of class. I used to not assign any book because I just lecture, and students were like, "Can we get something to have on paper?" So I assigned like a $200 biomechanics book, and the information was like the book may be that big, and the stuff we used about that big. And then one of my students said, "Well, can we just come up with a custom workbook that would just basically have the stuff we need?" And my hesitation was, again, I'm with my dyslexia, I'm not a very good writer. He's like, "Don't worry about it. Just put down kind of the main things, and then in class you can clarify and that kind of stuff." So, all right, we'll put it out. And so just know that all the stuff is there, but my lectures allow me to clarify some things, to go into more detail and develop and master those concepts. So in other words, don't just rely on the workbook. Use the combination of the workbook and the lectures together as a tool. All right, guys, last call for questions. Anything? All right. Well, if y'all do need anything, you know where to reach me. Okay, guys? All right. Y'all have a good day.